welcome to my Four Boys and an ML Girl podcast. My name is Patty. I'm coming to you from the extreme east coast of Canada in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador on the island of Newfoundland. This podcast is going to be about knitting. I do a variety of craftual things, knitting, cross-stitching, rug hooking, quilting, sewing, so you'll see a little bit of that on these podcasts. Recently, I have been doing floss tube cross-stitch podcasts mainly, but knitting is my first love, and I wanted to come back and do a knitting podcast before I lost all my knitty viewers. So I hope that if you're coming for the first time, that you enjoy this podcast. And if you're a return viewer, thank you so much for your support over the years. I really appreciate it. The making community on YouTube is such a wonderful, kind, welcoming, supportive community, and I just love it. So thank you very much for your support, for your comments. I read every single comment I receive. I don't always get a chance to sit down and respond to every single one. Recently, I am hit or miss. Sometimes I get to respond and sometimes it takes me a few weeks. But thank you so much for your comments. I haven't had a chance this week to look at any questions that you may have had, so I'll do that a bit later because I am planning on doing a Stitch With Me video this afternoon. It is Friday, the 29th of March. It's around 9 o'clock in the morning and the sun is shining again. It's a beautiful day. I'll put some video in of a little hike that myself and my sons took not a few weeks ago, on Monday, to show you. Just a little bit of the area where we live, because I haven't taped anything around here recently, so I wanted to show you that. It is very early spring here, so I think we call it sprinter. We normally get a good snowstorm still in April, so I'm a little hesitant to say that spring is here, but the weather is hovering around the 0, -1, -2 degree mark. We don't have any snow, and it's still cold. The wind is sometimes very cold still, but it's certainly feeling very nice with the sunshine. So I'm going to get right into what I've been knitting. I have to admit I've been doing more cross-stitch than knitting recently. So what I did, because I promised a friend of mine, hi Doreen, that it was I would be doing a knitting podcast soon. So I decided to get myself excited about some knitting, because of course one of my knitting projects, most recent one, my pair of socks that I've been working on, I made a mistake and I have to take some out. So I thought, rather than going back to that and having very little to show, I would start a new project, because you know it's beginning to feel like spring and it's time for a springy project that will take me 2 years to finish, and I wanted to show you a little bit of that. So the first thing I'm going to show you is something that I was working on actually last time, and I thought I'd give you an update on. So this is my flax sweater. It's housed in my Fringe Supply Company bag that my mom gave to me for Christmas. We take turns in our family. We draw names for Christmas presents, and so that way each of us, the cats, if it jiggles a bit, the cats are around my feet, so if they might hit the tripod. So if your world shakes for a second, that's what's going on. Let's see. So this is the very start of my flax sweater, which is by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And so I just have the collar done. And what I'm doing, this is a worsted weight sweater. So what I'm doing is holding 2 strands of fingering weight yarn together. Just keeping an eye on the cat down there because she's really loving one of my bags. And this is a mix. I love the color. I think why I stopped this project is I love each of the colors, the gray and the pink, to separate it. But I'm not... I don't know if it's the time of year or not, but I'm finding this too dark for me. For this time of year, I want to brighten it up a bit. So let me tell you what I'm using. Let's see. The gray is by Babbles Yarns. Hi, Grace. So let's show you Grace's lovely ball band. So Babbles Yarns. Grace is in Ireland. And this is one of the yarns that I picked up when I was in Ireland. And this particular colorway is called Storm Clouds. Oh, sorry about that. That was the cat. So this particular colorway is called Storm Clouds. And it's a fingering weight. And then the other one is by another one of my favorite Irish designers of Strand Designs. And this one is called Magenta. And I'm not sure of Strand Designs. I think she may not be dyeing anymore, which is really a shame because I absolutely love. This is not the first time I've knit with her with her yarn. I have a project that I did the Close to You shawl in a colorway of hers, Wild Atlantic, a year and a half, 2 years ago, of a lovely skein of yarn that my friend Catherine, hi Catherine, had sent to me. And yeah, I love her yarn. So like I said, separately, I love these two yarns, and I think they look great together. But for some reason, it's not appealing to me in the sweater format. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a lighter skein. This is a skein of yarn that I got during a fiber share exchange. It's from Germany. It's Strick Lily's Bunte Wolle, and this is called Crazy Socks. And it's a fingering weight sock yarn. So I'm going to pair this, and let me show you why, with the magenta. And I think that will brighten up the sweater, and I think that's going to do it for me. So that's that. I am using the, like I said, the flax, the regular flax sweater, because there's a flax and a flax light. I'm knitting the regular worsted weight, but I am going to knit either half, like short sleeves, or 3/4 sleeves. So right now, for example, let me put this down for a second and move this. I'm wearing my Madewell cardigan by Joji Locatelli, and this has 3/4 sleeves, so I'll do something similar. This is knit in a Smith & New colorway called Borealis. Smith & New is a yarn dyer out in Kamloops, British Columbia. Love the sweater. Get a lot of wear out of it. So that's that. Angel is really loving my bags of yarn down there. I'm not quite sure. I may have had one of those bags at a friend of mine's yesterday, and they have a cat, so maybe she's marking her territory. Angel, I'm going to take that bag away from you for a sec. Okay, so for the next one, this is the new project that I had started. It is housed in a My Cottage No. 9 bag. This is from Ireland. This is the second bag that I have from this bag designer, and I just love it. So it's, you can see the gorgeous robins. The print on this, it's kind of a canvas upholstery material. It's just beautiful. And it's a drawstring bag. And then when you pull the drawstring, these two straps. So it resembles a purse. And you can see my Muggles pin. What does it say? Don't let the Muggles, and Muggles of course being non-knitters, don't let the Muggles get you down. To remind myself to knit in public as much as possible. Because sometimes knitting in public, I find children are great when you're knitting in public. Hi Angel. The kids, I knit at the pool when my boys are having their swim lessons. I knit on the side of the deck, and the kids are always stopping, taking a break from their lessons and watching me knit, the ones that aren't mine, because mine obviously are used to it, but they're always fascinated by the knitting. So in this bag is the new sweater I was talking about. This is called now I've got to find my pattern. Here it is. I will insert a picture here of the sweater. So it's the June Grass Pullover by Carrie Bostick Hogue. And this is, like I said, a new cast on. It is, I cast it on exactly a week ago, so I cast it on last Friday. And I've got a reasonable amount knit. I'm pleased with how much I have knit. I have this much yarn left on my first ball. So this is, excuse me, some gorgeous, and maybe you can see the sparkle. Hopefully the camera will pick up on the sparkle on this. This is Elm Tree Yarns, and she is a yarn dyer out of the UK. This is Superwash Merino Nylon and Silver Stellina, and it's a DK weight yarn, and it's in the color Mrs. Tiggy Winkle from Beatrix Potter, and it is beautiful. I loved it enough to buy it from the UK, and I bought 6 skeins so I could knit a sweater. Absolutely, absolutely love it. So I'm going to show you the how much I've gotten knit so far. So this is the top. So I'm making nice headway on getting down to soon, very soon I will be putting these stitches on waste yarn to join down here so it can be knit in the round. So getting the sleeves almost ready to get those sleeves separated from the body. So I'm happy with that. And the colorway is, I think, spectacular. I loved it in the skein. I loved it even more when I balled it up, and I love it even more now that it's knit up. So I'm planning on wearing a collared shirt perhaps underneath this. And I'm going to make, if I didn't mention before, I think I didn't because the camera got cut off. Assuming my phone ran out of storage for videotaping. I'm going to make a couple of adjustments. The sleeves I'm going to make about 3/4 length, similar to the sweater, the Madewell that I have on now. Maybe a little bit longer than this one. And the front, where the side splits, I'm going to have the front panel will come down quite a bit closer to the top of my thighs, and then the back I want the whole length of the sweater to be probably 3 to 4 inches longer than it's called for. I hope I have enough yarn for that. But what I'm going to do shortly is cast on the neck. It's an interesting construction for this top-down sweater. You cast on at the yoke, so then you pick up stitches and do the collar kind of afterwards. So what I'm going to do is knit the collar shortly after I separate for the sleeves. Then I'm going to get the sleeves, I'll get the body going. Then I'm going to go back and finish the sleeves, and then whatever yarn I have left is how much I have to finish the length of the sweater. So that's my plan right now anyway. So I'm really, really loving that. So hopefully you'll see some progress on that for next week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I've been taking it with me everywhere because I do find it's okay if I'm in the car waiting. Sorry, I'm kind of slouched back here, relaxing. Not that I'm not relaxed when I do a podcast, but that's a bit too slouchy. I find when I'm sitting in the car waiting for the boys after school, I can cross stitch, but really I find cross stitch a little bit more difficult to take with me, at least the projects I'm working on now, because they're a little bit larger. And knitting I find a little bit more portable, so I'm enjoying that. Now, my friends over at the Fiber Friends podcast, Adrienne, Louise, and Caroline, hi ladies, they are hosting a knit along right now, and I can't remember if it ends the 1st of May or the end of May. Anyway, it's a finish up your whips knit along, which I thought was perfect for me. I have thousands, probably not thousands, but I have a lot of unfinished knitting whips and crafty whips down in my very messy craft room. So I decided I would take out one that is near and dear to my heart, that I have not worked on in ages, that I want to get it finished. I want to be able to wear this piece. It's a beautiful piece of lace. Anybody who has been watching my videos for the long term knows that I started the Snow Melt shawl at least 2 years ago, if not longer. I may even have written down somewhere. Well, I know I have it on Ravelry. So if you want to go to Ravelry, you can see when I started this incredibly beautiful shawl. So let's do some, before we get to the shawl, let's look at some of the yarn. So a lot of this, 2 of these are Ancient Arts yarns. So this is Ancient Arts Lapis Lazuli. Put it over here, it's not quite as blown out. Beautiful, beautiful blue. Then we've got another Ancient Arts yarn, and I cannot remember what this one's called. And the ball band should be Angel. What are you doing? You know what? I can't find the ball band. Oh, here it is. So this one is called Stargazer, Ancient Arts yarn as well. And just a second now. I'm sorry, Angel, you need to move. Thank you, hon. Thank you as I push her off the table. This is what my whole shawl is based on. This is a skein of yarn from Critcham Handmade, who's a lovely, hi SS, a lovely dyer who I've met personally in Ontario. And this one is called Birds and Butterflies, and it is just, it's a stunning, I love this skein of yarn. So that's really what was the inspiration for all the color choices that I made with this shawl. So this needs to be finished. I am almost finished. Let me hold it up here. It's a beautiful piece. It needs to be, have brought this all over the place. It's going to need a good wash when it's finished. It needs a good block. I really can't wait to finish this, and I'm not too far away from that. So I want to get this done, so then I can cast on another Helen Stewart shawl pattern. So this is a Snow Melt shawl by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. It's one of my very first, I've done I did the Close to You shawl. That's one of the things, that's what I knit with my skein of yarn from Ireland that my friend Catherine had sent me a number of years ago. And that's a nice easy lace pattern, the Close to You shawl. It's also a free pattern on Ravelry. But this one is the largest kind of commitment to lace I've ever done, and I'm really proud of it. I've learned so much knitting this shawl that I really want to finish it. And I do want to do a little bit more lace. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to be a knitter who's knitting on lace weight yarn and doing really intricate lace. Now, I could be wrong. You know, I could, in 5 years, that could be exactly what I'm into. At the moment, I don't think I am, or I will be, because it intimidates me. But that's why I want to cast on another one of Helen's shawls and do some more. Her patterns are, she does her patterns in a percentage system, and at every single row you can count and see if you've made you have enough stitches and if you've are under or over stitches. And I just love the way she writes her patterns, so it's really well done. So I trust that Helen's going to lead me through some other more beautiful shawls in the future. This is, I didn't mention, this shawl is housed in my Sandy by the Lakeside bag. Got a couple of Anna Green Gables pin there, Canada 150 pin on there. I love this bag. This bag is equally going to need a bit of a wash when I wash my shawl, because this bag, when I went this past summer, so a year and a half ago, when I brought the boys on our Eastern, the cat is chasing a fly, or birds through the window, when we went on our big Eastern Canada tour, camping tour 2 summers ago, this is one of the projects I brought with me. And of course, when you're camping, you can't really keep things as clean as you can at home, so this is a little bit dirty. There we go. So that is actually all I have to share with you today. I will have a little bit, hopefully more progress to show you next week. I will try and do a knitting podcast a little more regularly for my regular viewers, because like I said, I started off as a knitting podcast, and then I, just before Christmas and after Christmas, was really doing more cross stitching, and I want to do some knitty things as well and make sure that my my knitty, I guess, viewers are entertained. And I'm hoping next week as well to do a little giveaway, because I haven't done that for my knitting friends in quite a while. So take care. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I hope you get time this weekend over the next little while to have a great cup of tea or coffee or whatever your hot beverage of choice is, and get a chance to make something that makes your heart happy. Take care. Bye-bye.